I've done over $150 million in e-commerce sales just through email marketing. This is across over 200 different 7 to 9 figure brands that I've worked with. Today, I'm going to be giving you a full beginner's course on how to set up your email marketing the right way using the platform Omnisend. Whether you're launching a new store or scaling an existing store, or whether you're starting email marketing or trying to scale your email marketing, this video is going to give you everything you need to know to execute email marketing the right way in 2026 and beyond. Now, whether you like it or not, in 2026, email marketing is non-negotiable for all e-commerce brands. Why is that? Well, email is the highest ROI marketing channel on the planet. It literally costs pennies to send emails, while you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars every single month just on your ad platforms. Email is the best way to capture that attention you get off ads and actually convert these people into buyers without having to break the bank. Without a proper email system set up, you are sending all your traffic into a leaky bucket and wasting ad spend every single day. Dialing in your backend is really the only way to be profitable in today's saturated and competitive e-commerce market. And the top brands we're working with at my agency are generating 30 to 50% of their total store revenue just from the email channel. Let's say that you do get somebody to click one of your ads and they go to your website. Whether you're in health and wellness, beauty, apparel, whatever it is, there are literally thousands of other brands in your niche that the customer can go shop from. The modern customer is different in that they like to shop around. They're gonna go look at your competitors. They're gonna go to your store. Then they're gonna go to somebody else's. And if you don't have anything to get that person's information right when they go to your website, they're gonna go to a competitor and never come back. However, imagine if you have a high converting email pop-up form, and that form is able to get at least that person's email address before they leave your site and go to somebody else. Well, now you have their email and you can literally send them emails for pennies. And email just so happens to be the most used media channel on the whole planet. With over 80% of Americans checking their email every single day, it is the most concentrated form of attention on the planet. So now you're able to send people reminders of your brand for pennies on the dollar, where they're almost guaranteed to see your message. Sounds like a win to me. Now, there's a lot of noise on email marketing on all these different things that you could be doing. So in this video, I'm gonna be giving you the no bullshit. This is everything that you need to know to get your email channel up and running and generating you a lot more profit. Let's get into it. Let's start with your email platform. There are all sorts of different email platforms out there that you can use. These email platforms are gonna allow you to send emails from a domain to thousands of people all at once. And then these email platforms are also connected to your e-commerce platform. So then you can send emails and look at the data and see what emails people are buying from, products people are buying from, and then review all the analytics. In this video, we're going to be talking about Omnisend. Omnisend is a very cost-effective option, which also gives you kind of everything you need to run the channel. And I've been using them a lot more and more. And so what we're going to be setting up today is we're going to be setting up our pop-up forms to actually grow our list. We're going to be setting up our email automations. These are going to be automated emails that send to customers based on where they're at in the customer journey. Things like sending people automated emails when they sign up to our email list, or when somebody abandons a cart, or right after somebody makes a purchase. We want to set up these automated emails. Then also we want to set up our blasts and our weekly emails that are kind of going out to everybody on the list. Those are the 3 pillars of email marketing that we need to focus on and set up systems for. So to get started with Omnisend, you can go to omnisend.com/max and you actually get 30% off your first 3 months with them. Shout out to them for giving my audience that offer. So use that offer. All you have to do is click sign up now. You're just going to answer a couple of the onboarding questions, connect to your store. It literally takes you like 5 minutes and anybody can do it. So I'm not going to walk through that. And so I'm just inside of an account and we can take a look at Omnisend right here. We are just at the overview section, so we can kind of like look at everything from a broad lens. You can see the revenue that's coming from Omnisend on a given time period. You can adjust this whenever you want. You can see the campaign revenue, which these are the one-time blasts that are going out to the list versus the automation revenue. You can also look at the store revenue right here. So if we look at this percentage, 120,000 of this store's revenue out of 409,000 is coming from email. It's not one of my brands, just a random brand, because ideally we want this to be 30 to 50%. But you can see everything like laid out for you here, as well as like audience growth and yada, yada, yada. You have all sorts of different tabs over here. You have your campaigns, like I said, the one-time blasts that go to the list. And so you'd be able to see your open rates, your click rates, your revenue, what date you send these emails, and whether it's an email or an SMS, and everything just right here. And if you click onto these emails, you can get some more information. And then you have the automations, like I talked about before. These are the automated emails that are going to be sent. So like abandoned checkout, welcome series, added to cart. So if somebody adds to cart, what are we sending them an email? We're going to be walking through that all today. And then you have the forms, which are going to be, how do we grow our list? Then of course you have audience. So you have your different segments. So you can create definitions for people like one-time buyers. You can create a segment of one-time buyers. You have everything right here. And then of course you have lots of really good reports that you can use here to kind of like analyze your data and optimize. But for this video, we are going to be setting up the base systems for our forms, our automations, and our campaigns. So pillar number 1 are our pop-up forms. These are super duper important to make sure that we grow our list and get more out of our site traffic and our ad spend. It's very important that we have a really good form that is optimized and getting as many people as possible. So let's walk through creating a form with some best practices that's going to help you grow your list in the most effective way possible. So we can just go up here to create form, and then you can actually use their AI right here, or you can go manually. In this case, I'm going to go manually, and they have all sorts of different options for us to choose from. You can do spin to win. Spin to wins always work work really well. If you want to go with the spin to win, you can. I recommend keeping things super duper simple, but I like starting off with this one. This is called a micro step form, where essentially first you're asking somebody a question. So you can see this is step 1 here. And once somebody answers this, yes, I want to save 10% off, then we ask them for their email address, and then it'll go to success. Now, why would we add another step? This is called a micro commit. And for some reason, psychologically, this gets people to convert at a higher rate. Because right here, they don't know that they have to enter their email address. It's like save 10% off. All I have to do is click this button. Yes, please. They click that button, and then we ask for their email. And psychologically, this just works so much better. And you can look at the options, whether you're on desktop or mobile right here. I'm just going to adjust on mobile because that's what most people are going to be on. And so this is the wording that I typically like to do for all of my sign-up forms. I like to say you've got, and then whatever the discount is. So we say 10% off. For some reason, that wording of you've got just works so much better because psychologically it makes me feel as a customer that I have this discount. And by closing out of this form, I lose it. It plays into loss aversion. So we want to do this. I'm going to center this right here. Then maybe I will bold the 10% off. Maybe add an exclamation point right here. So maybe we could say you've got, but I'm actually going to ask a question. I'm going to say, do you want 10% off? Because that makes it such an easy question of yes, I want 10% off. Why would I not? So I'm going to adjust this again, put this in the center, and then we just say, do you want 10% off? Maybe right here, I'll say yes, please. And then if I want to get aggressive, I'm going to say, no thanks, I'll pay full price. Now we're making this just a no-brainer. I'm just like, do you want 10% off? Yes, please. Or no thanks, I'll pay a full price. So then now we can go to step 2. And this is where we are going to use our wording of you've got 10% off. I'm going to delete this text because anytime we add more text to a form, it's typically going to increase the churn. So we're just going to keep it super simple of you've got 10% off. I'm going to change this call to action to claim 10% off. And then boom, it's super clean, super simple. And then we have our success right here. I'm gonna adjust the size. This seems a little bit big. We'll go success, and then we're gonna tell people to check their email for their discount code. You can put the discount code here, but I also want people to engage with my email. So I'm gonna say, check your email for your 10% off code. And then we're gonna set up our automations to send that person the code when they opt in from this sign-up form. So then the person can X out from here, and then we're all good to go. So we have our super simple form right here, just using one of their templates, and we can change the targeting for based on who is seeing this form and then when. So for visitor targeting options, we can show it to all people or don't show it to existing contacts. So people who are already on our email list, we don't want to give them another discount code. So we're just going to keep it don't show to existing contacts. And then you can edit the pages that people see this form. So you can change the pages right here. And then you can adjust anything else here that you want on the targeting side. You can schedule it at a certain point and then also display. So when is this going to fire? I typically recommend firing this always on a time delay of either 4 to 6 seconds. So I'm going to go with 4 seconds right here. You could also do scroll depth or exit intent. I don't like to do any of that. I just like to do the time. And then we are pretty much all good to go. If we want to set up an A/B test, then we can set up an A/B test right here and then test different copy and whatnot, yada, 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 but we really don't need to right now. And then we can, if we set up an A/B test, then we can start it and then we just launch it right here and we're all good. We're going to start capturing email addresses. So that is the first step. What always works better for sign-up forms is using an outside platform like Alia. This is my favorite platform. I'm super close with their team as well, so I always want to shout them out because every single time their pop-ups absolutely print. They'll help you set up your first forms. It literally takes minutes. Just right when you book a demo, just say Max sent me. And you also get a free 30-day trial when you do that. But back to Omnisend, we just got the first pillar. Now let's head to our second pillar, which are our automations. And so within our automations, when we want to build an automation, we can just create a workflow right here, and you'll see that Omnisend already has a ton of options for us. Now I'm going to walk through the core ones that you need. First, we need the welcome flow, which is going to fire when somebody opts into our email list from our pop-up form. In this flow, we want to give them their discount, add some urgency on the discount within a couple emails, and also educate them a bit about our brand and our products. Second one is we want the browse abandon flow, which is going to be if somebody views a product and then leaves. We want to remind them of that product that they looked at and left. The third one is we want the abandoned cart flow. If somebody adds to cart and then leaves, we want to send a few emails reminding them. And then fourth, we have the abandoned checkout flow, which if somebody goes to checkout and then leaves, again, we want to remind them and get that sale back. And then we have the post-purchase flow. And you can make this last however long you want, but right when somebody makes a purchase, you can thank them for their purchase, maybe try to get some upsells or cross-sells. And you can also schedule out emails for literally months down the line to try to get people to come back if they don't place another order. Let's start off with the welcome flow, which we can just click here. We can do a welcome flow, and you can see different ones for a number of emails here. It's always best practice to have multiple touch points. So I'm going to start with this template of 3 emails right here, and we're going to customize workflow right here. And you can see that they already kind of build everything for you here. And this can look a little bit daunting if you're not used to email marketing, but essentially right here, we have the trigger up top. So we can look at somebody's going to enter this workflow when they subscribe to marketing, and you can change the trigger to whatever you want it to be. This is how you change your different flows, but flows are just determined by their triggers. So this one we have when somebody subscribes to email marketing. They give us their email. You can see they also have trigger filters to make sure that people are opting in the right way. So what they've set for the filters here is they subscribe to email, so it's not like SMS or something, and their subscription method is the sign-up form, so they're opting in from a sign-up form. Then also the first subscription is true, so it's not like their third time subscribing. So we have that trigger filter. Then also we have one more thing here, which is the exit conditions. So this is how are we gonna kick somebody out of this flow? So say somebody receives this first email, what if we wanna prevent them from receiving the rest of these emails? That's what this is for, this condition filter, which is if somebody places an order, it's gonna remove them from the flow so that they're not gonna keep getting reminded about the discount. And that's really all we need. All we have to do is update, and then boom, we have this. Now we can start building our emails. See, they put a time delay of 1 minute. I typically like to send this email right off the bat. So we have this first email, wait 1 day, send this next email, and I like to wait 1 day in between all these emails, so I'm gonna wait 1 day as well. So now we're into the email editor where we're actually gonna adjust our emails. So what we have here is the subject line, which is the subject line of the email, what's gonna show first, and then you have the pre-header, which is like the preview text. So when somebody receives a notification from us, this is what they see. So we can just keep this super straightforward. We're just gonna say, welcome to Wellcopy, which is my company. And then we're gonna say, open to claim your 10% off, which we're then gonna give them the discount code inside. You can change the sender name, so I can do Max, and then maybe I'll do Max from Wellcopy, so they know it's from me. And then we're all good to go, and we can edit this content. So if we just go into edit content, we wanna save what we just did, and then right here, we're actually into the email builder. It's a super simple drag and drop builder for creating emails. And so using this editor, you can go off of their template and just adjust right here. You can edit all the copy, whatever you want to do. But if you want to add other stuff, then you go to this add elements section. Maybe I want to add an image up here with my logo. I can go in and I can upload an image. So right here, I went ahead and put my company logo right here. We want to make this image a bit smaller, maybe adjust it just like this. And if you're new to email design and anything, I always highly recommend just going off of examples. And so I have other videos on my channel on email design best practices and email copy best practices if you want to check those out. A great place to start is by going to this website, reallygoodemails.com, and you can literally look at really good emails and kind of just like see what are kind of like the best practices, what are other brands doing. Maybe we can go to like Zapier right here and we can see like the kind of structure that they're using, their software company. We can see like replenishable brands. A lot of times they're a lot more like graphic heavy, so maybe you'll need a graphic designer, but you can kind of like see like the general layout that people are doing. So right here, I might just say like, welcome aboard, we're stoked to have you, 10% off, yada, yada, yada. And actually you can create discount codes right inside of here once you're connected with Omnisend, and it'll create you a custom discount code. Or you could do a static discount code. We could delete that. We could say code welcome for 10% off. And then right here, we're good to go there. And then maybe we want to add a button now. Add a button to take them into our website. We add a button right here, shop now. You can adjust this, shop now. You can adjust whatever you want in terms of like styles. You have different styles that you can use and adjust within your button settings right here, which you can adjust these. And maybe I want this one to be green, just like my company. And then it's gonna adjust right there. And then all you need to do is you just need to add the link right here, link it to my website, wellcopy.net, and then boom, you're good to go. Now we probably want a lot more different elements in this email, but for sake of time, I just wanna show you like the builder a little bit. It's really not rocket science, but this is how you build everything out. With Omnisend, you can also add like product recommendations, product listings, and it's gonna pull this directly from your website, which is pretty sweet. You can have it be products to recommend, best-selling products. You can make it similar to last purchases, recently viewed products, or best-selling products, whatever really you want. You can change the layouts, whatever you want. It's super easy and straightforward, so I would definitely recommend you use this feature. And so once you're all set, you can click finish editing and then exit out, and then boom, that email's ready to roll. So what I would do then is I would go in and adjust the templates like they had before laid out for you. And then once you're ready to turn this flow on, you want people to start receiving these emails, you just click start workflow up here, and boom, that's it. Now let's move into some of these other flows. So we have like the abandonment flows. And so let's talk about, for example, the abandoned cart flow. So this is going to be a little bit different in that it's going to have dynamic product sections, meaning it's going to be dynamic for for each customer. It's going to change customer to customer. So right here, we can see the trigger is an add item to cart. Let's look at the filters right here. So right here, this is what they have. If somebody hasn't like added to a previous cart for the last 1 hour, you can see the exit conditions right here is somebody places an order or started checkout, because we're going to have a checkout abandoned flow. And so if somebody starts as added to cart flow and then they add a cart to checkout, then we want to remove them from this cart flow and bring them into the checkout abandoned flow. So we can see really what this is doing is it's going to wait 1 hour from a person adding to cart to send this email. Typically what I like to do is I like to wait 30 minutes. So we're going to update that. We wait 30 minutes and then we're going to send this first email. And then this says 11 hours. I just like to wait 24 hours and then keep every email 24 hours apart right here. And this is perfect. They add a little discount at the end, which you can definitely do. And these templates are pretty good to start off with. You can just go in and edit. And so if we go into edit for an abandonment email, if you go into add elements, there's actually going to be an abandoned products section. So you can actually drag in and you can show customers exactly what they left behind. So right here, this is going to show exactly what the customer left behind. So if you go to preview and test, you can actually see what this would look like for a specific person. It's going to show the product exactly that the person left behind. And this really increases conversion. So we want to make sure that we do this. And so we just want to make sure that we have this for all of our flows right here. And all of our emails have that dynamic section. And then we can set this live and we're good to go. And so you can go through Omnisend's templates and those are a great starting point. And I have other videos breaking down other flows, but this is typically what like a strategy, an optimized strategy for us looks like. I know this is kind of like overwhelming and there are all sorts of different splits right here, but you can kind of ignore that. Essentially what these blue bubbles are and these green bubbles is these are different emails. So we have the welcome flow, the website abandoned flow, browse abandoned, cart abandoned, checkout abandoned. We have the post-purchase flow, we have a replenishment reminder flow, and a win-back flow. Notice how all of these have multiple emails, and essentially we're just giving the customer a whole bunch of different reminders. Again, just look up max start event flows on YouTube and you'll see a ton of breakdowns on these flows and how to build them out and what your content should be for each one. So that is the second pillar, which are all the email automations. Now let's get to the final pillar, which are your email campaigns. Campaigns are the one-time emails that you send at a specific day or a specific time to your list. Flows, you set them active, and as customers kind of trigger those actions, they'll start receiving those flows. But campaigns, you click send and that email sends. So these are things like sale emails, like a Labor Day flash sale, or a new product restock comes online. Things like that you want to let your customers know about. Now there are a lot of things that you can send email campaigns about, and this is a huge part of your strategy. Now for our brands, we typically send 3 to 4 email campaigns per week. Now for some of you, that may seem like a lot, but trust me, it's not. We get over 60% open rates, great engagement, and people love our emails. We just need to make sure we're sending the right stuff. We can't just send sale, 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 and absolutely spam these customers. We want to give them value. We want to give brand information. We want to give them stories. Things like that with good copy and good design to keep them engaged. And so to get help with that, I like to use this platform called Mild. Mild lets you essentially go to any brand that you want and look at their email marketing strategy and what campaigns they're sending. So let's say I sold like travel accessories. What I could do is I could go to a brand like Bays right here, and I could look at all the emails that they're sending. We see they send an email October 11th, October 10th, October 9th, 8th, 6th, 4th, 1, and you can see how many emails that they're sending and also click on the emails and what they are. So if we go into here, I can click on this email, and this is, it looks like this is a new product release introducing charcoal. So they show the product, there's a little testimonial, and then a couple different product sections. So they send this sort of thing. You can see they're not always doing like product restocks and anything, but this is like Pack Like a Pro, insider picks. So this is just a quick insider picks email. We can see this is like a fun one right here. I love back pain, no one ever. And so they highlight like the product that straps onto your suitcase right here. So that's pretty fun. This is like a fall's most wanted, the weekender. So it's talking about reviews and it's a GIF of like different reviews. So you can see like the different sort of content that they're doing. And so I would make it a priority to at least get one email campaign per week out to your list, no matter your size. At least one per week so that you can keep your list warm, because if not, the customer's gonna forget about you. And when it is time to email them for a big sale, you wanna make sure that these people are warm. So always make sure that you're sending at least once per week. So if we go back into Omnisend, we can go into campaigns, and this is how we schedule our emails. We just create a campaign right here. You can see the different options that we have. We can just create an email, and then we can have our subject line and our preview text. So let's just kind of like copy this email for them and do like a review based email. So I'm gonna go back to Omnisend here, and I'm gonna say the reviews don't lie. I actually have a YouTube video just on subject lines and preview text. If you want to look that up, you can find it and how to optimize these to get the most amount of opens. And then we can say something like, don't just take our word for it, and some little hack for you. It's a lot of times ... just works super well. So testimonial campaign is what I'm going to label this as, the name. And then, so we have this all set up. Now we can choose our email template. And so you can see also with Omnisend, they give us a ton of different templates that we can use. And they even separate it by these different sort of like options. And so maybe I'll go go to fashion, lifestyle, and maybe do accessories and see if there's like a template that I like. So we can preview this here, and this looks pretty solid. That looks like a pretty decent template. Here's a pretty good one as well. I like how simple it is. Just a picture right here. Go to our website. I like this. I'm going to use this as our template. And so you can just watch me kind of like adjust this. I'm going to remove this right here. I'm going to create this for my company. And so let me do this. So right here, I've replaced with my logo right here. Maybe I can put wellcopy.net. I'm actually going to delete this. I don't really see a lot of brands do this. And so if we go right, oops, I deleted that. I can just backspace right here. I'll delete that line. And I really just want to kind of copy this email right here. So I'm just going to have my logo up here at the top. I'm going to change this background, just make it white. So that should be pretty straightforward. And as far as like my company and our backgrounds for emails and stuff, we kind of like a gray sort of color. So I'm just going to do that and adjust like these gray colors. See, there's a line break here, so we'll adjust that. And so I just uploaded an image right here of just like us and like a branded sort of thing, electrify your marketing. And right here, maybe for copy, I'll say over 200 plus brands served. We can center this, maybe bold it, and then I want to change the font to our font, which is Montserrat right here. If you need email marketing done right, we got you. $150 million generated and 207 to 9 figure brands served. Later, we kind of know what we're doing. Book a call below to learn more. So boom, we have that. We can adjust the font as well right here, and then go to our website. We have this, and then I'd add the link to my Calendly, which is just right here. And this is gonna be in the bio if you want it, of course. You can also, of course, adjust the button. Whatever the button you want is, you can just go to the button settings and adjust it how you want it. So I'll keep it just like this. You can see the layout is pretty similar to what they're doing right here. And then now we can actually get to the testimonial section. So right here, I'd probably just go to my website and then put in some testimonials. So I've put in the brand names here. And so again, I can just adjust the font. And so we have a couple of these right in here, looking pretty good and simple. Maybe I would just delete this section right here, and then maybe I'll show some examples of our work. So I just uploaded like this right here, just some random examples of our work. And then from here, we can adjust and get rid of the stuff that we don't want. Maybe I delete these socials right here, delete this, then maybe add some sort of footer if I wanted to, but I'm gonna keep this pretty straightforward just for this video. And then boom, we have a super simple email right here that we could send out. And then next, once we're all good to roll, we can go save and choose recipients, which essentially here is where we are going to choose who we want to send to. So we can send it to all subscribers, or we can choose a specific segment. So these are segments that we can send to, 60-day engaged, whatever we want right here. Typically, we recommend only sending to engaged subscribers. So we could do to like 60-day engaged right here, review campaign, and then we could literally send it now if we wanted to. So I am going to exit out here because we don't want to actually send this. And those are the sorts of emails that you want to be sending, ideally at least minimum once per week. And just to walk you through some other helpful videos right here, this is a 3-hour and 24-minute video on advanced email marketing strategies right here. I would highly recommend watching that to really get a deep dive on email. Here's one on email design if you want to know what high converting email design looks like. Here's a video of me writing and designing emails for Mr. Beast. Not actually him, just did it for fun. Here's a great email on all those email flows that I showed you, so all the different automations. Here's a great video on pop-up forms right here, so you can learn how to do more pop-up forms. And then this right here, I found a better way to do email marketing is about the email campaigns that I just showed you in the blast that you're sending to the list, what you should send, how often, all that good stuff. This is all just within Omnisend and operating within Omnisend. You can go to omnisend.com/max again to get 30% off your first 3 months. You can see pricing is on this page as well. That's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching to the end if you made it this far. If you want help with email marketing, you can book a call with the link in the description. We'll help set this all up for you. With that, again, thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.